Happy Star Wars Day, everyone, and welcome to Bellingham Sportsplex for tonight's ACHA matchup between the Idaho Vandals and the Western Washington Vikings. The second of two games here this weekend between the Vandals and the Vikings. Western thoroughly dominated once again last night, winning 12-2. Multi-goal efforts from Brett Brumbaugh, Andrew Fan, Tyler Chapman, and Aaron James. Feels like we mention those names every night. They helped to extend the Vikings' win streak to 9 games, their 4th win in a row, where they've scored more than 10 goals. As the team's getting introduced here, it's the fact that the Vikings are getting contributions from all around that has made them successful. To talk about that and more, I caught up with forward Declan Quinn to speak about the successes his club has been seeing. Here's Declan.
Number 91, Aaron James.
Hat trick last week, and how was being out there scoring 3 goals? What was that like?
I mean, 2 of them, I didn't even know if I scored them. They were not the prettiest. One of them was pretty good. So, I mean, it felt good. It was my first hat trick at Western. So, yeah, I'm glad I was able to finally do it. It took me long enough, but yeah.
During that game, 8 players scored for the team. What does that say about the depth of this team that many players are able to score?
Hey, it shows that, I mean, we got a lot of good recruits this year that helped us a ton. But it shows even the guys we had last year and the year before were just developing every year after a long break. I mean, we didn't do the best last year, but it shows that everyone wants it more this year and is ready to go. So,
when you lay eyes on a target on the ice, what goes through your mind when you're trying to hit a guy?
I mean, ideally it's to get the puck from him, but sometimes, like, someone's skating with their head down and the team needs something to get going, and I'll put a little extra into it, but I've been trying to take less penalties. So, but yeah, I mean, I love seeing an open ice hit for me. Like, it's like candy, so it's good.
Yeah. What is you guys are 10-1 to start this season. What has the success meant to this group of guys, this team?
I mean, we're all like best friends, so we do everything together, but just doing well, it just makes everything more fun and more enjoyable. It helps getting up for 5:30 practice, makes it more fun, more competitive. I mean, being 10-1 is great, but we just want to keep going, so. Yeah.
Welcome back to Bellingham Sportsplex as the Vikings get set for the second of 2 between the Idaho Vandals here this weekend. Vikings starters will be Brett Brumbaugh, Aaron James, and Andrew Fan. Up front on the blue line will be Hunter Smith and Ethan Secord. And in goal will be number 40, Jack Wilder, for the Western Washington Vikings. Star Wars night here in Bellingham, as the teams get ready to drop the puck here. The Vikings, their 4th of 8 straight games here at Bellingham Sportsplex. They'll be back here next weekend to take on the University of California San Diego Tritons and the University of California Golden Bears. But away we go from Bellingham Sportsplex. Brett Brumbaugh set to take the draw, and we are underway. Vandals win the early draw, and they collect the loose puck in neutral ice. The Vikings back with it. Here's Brett Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh going to take it himself the other way. Brumbaugh going to try to force his way in. Here's Andrew Fan with it. Fan from the right circle. Goes around the net. Looking for an option. Pass to Hunter Smith, and Aaron James plays it with a high stick. It's whistled down. We get first whistle of the game. Face off won by the Vikings, but collected right away by Desjardins for the Vandals. Collected by Cooper Hunter Smith behind the net. He's going to try to spring Aaron James. Aaron James going to try to find Andrew Fan. Fan into the zone, busting in towards the Vandals net. And played by Adam Paulson for the Vandals. Collected by Secord in neutral ice. Pressure in there is Vaughn for the Vandals. Vaughn battling. Brumbaugh able to play it out. Or almost played it out into neutral ice. Collected by Secord. Vikings trying to get action early on. Secord with a turnover in neutral ice and collected by Canavan for the Vandals. Canavan back to Paulson. Line 2 out there for the Vikings. Vandals ice the puck all the way down. Glad you could join us here from beautiful Bellingham Sportsplex. Vikings saw 4 different players last night score more than 1 goal. Aaron James, Andrew Fan, Brett Brumbaugh, and Tyler Chapman. Feels like we say those names pretty much every night. The Vandals get it into the Viking zone. Collected by Carver Johnson, who's going to drop it off to Jesse Deegan. Deegan tried to get it up to Tyler Chapman. Collected by James. Recollected by Canavan for the Vandals. Pressuring there is Tyler Chapman. Canavan able to play it up to Kirkwood. Back in the Vandal zone. Here's Jacob James. Pressure in there. Collected by Tyler Chapman and neutralized, and Jacob James into the zone, but Harrison Webster is offsides. Face-off won by the Vandals, but the Vikings are offsides yet again. 17:41 left in the first period. Face-off won by the Vandals. Collected by Mongo. So the Vikings are able to get it back into the Vandal zone. There's Adams with it. He's going to try to play it around. Quick shot from Declan Quinn from the far wall. Out of Quinn out front. Quinn, it's still loose out there. Patrick Pearson tried to battle at it. The Vikings weren't able to get it in there. Here's Aurelio with it from the right circle. Dropped off to Quinn with a one-timer. That's blocked by Bueller, and it's back into neutral ice. Here comes Declan Quinn. Quinn busting in. Steered away by Adams. And back into neutral ice, collected by Secord. Secord with it for the Vikings. He's going to walk his way in. Shot on goal. It sails wide. Up with the puck is Kyler Sleddy from the left circle. And that's going to be covered by Crecilius. Face off won by the Vandals. Here's Andre Shapiro. Going to try to find Tristan Anderson out front. Good shot there from Ethan Secord. Secord's going to play behind the net to Shapiro. Battling down there with Adam Paulson for the Vandals. Good forecheck there from Tristan Anderson. Collected at the blue line by Secord. He dipsy doodles. Walks in. Shot on goal. Jason Wojcicki, he scores! Jackson Wojcicki all alone back door. Good shot there from Ethan Secord, and the Vikings are on the board. It is 1-0. Jackson Wojcicki, his second goal of the season, makes it 1-0 Vikings early on. Shots 8-0 in favor of the Vikings. Good offense early for Western. Wojcicki, his second goal of the season. Played by Hunter Smith. He swings it around to Shapiro. Shapiro just going to chip it. Back into neutral ice. Here comes Ethan Secord. 2-on-1 opportunity. Secord tries to find Jackson Wojcicki out front. Wojcicki all alone back door yet again. Finding the right spots here tonight. No icing on that play. Jesse Deegan back to collect it for the Vikings. He tries to spring Andre Shapiro there. That's back in the Viking zone. Deegan gets it up to Shapiro. Shapiro going to bust in. Good play there by Mongo for the Vandals, able to steer it wide. Out with it for the Vandals. Shot on goal by Beeler. Patted away by Wilder. Collected by Deegan for the Vikings. He's going to get it off the glass. Try to get it to a little inadvertent pass to Brett Brumbaugh there. That's going to be played behind the net by Jack Wilder. Here's Jesse Deegan for the Vikings. Carver Johnson able to get it back into neutral ice. Collected by Adams. Good forecheck there from Brumbaugh. He breaks in. Brumbaugh looking for Aaron James out front. Couldn't quite get a clean pass there. Good forechecking from the Vikings early on. Here's Deegan. He gets it up. Played along the near wall by Brett Brumbaugh. And here comes Aaron James. He busts in from Andrew Fan. He shoots. Shot that sails wide. Collected by Ludwig for the Vandals. There's Lee with it for Idaho. Beeler. Good pass there from Aaron James. James out front to Fan. He shoots. Saved by Crecilius. Good stop there from the Vandals netminder. Face off one by the Vikings, but they play back into their own zone. Here's Tyler Chapman. He's going to be hauled down. No call there. Here's Aaron James. Or sorry, Jacob James. He's going to play it into the Vandals' corner. There's Tyler Chapman. Out with it is Webster. Webster going to get it over to Aurelio. Aurelio with a shot from the right point. Shouldered away by Crecilius. Aurelio back with it from the right point. Gets it down low to Jacob James. James tries to find Chapman out front. Good stick there from the Vandals, and they clear it all the way down. That'll be icing. With 13:33 left in the first period, the Vikings lead 1-0. Face off won by the Vikings. They get it to Cooper Hunter Smith. Down low to Jacob James. James going to try to battle with a duo of Vandals attackers. Played by Chapman. He gets it out front, and that's just going to be covered by Crecilius. Face off won by the Vandals. Mongo with it for Idaho. Pearson going to get it down low to Quinn. Quinn going to try to find Slutty out front. Vandals come out with it. Here's Carver Johnson from the point. That's going to be played back into neutral ice by the Vandals. That's going to be, looks like whistle dead on offsides. Face off tied up and won by the Vandals. And they swing a shot wide. Looks like that was Goretzky with it. Out in the slot there, looked like that was Stotzner. Shot from Adams. Hits a couple bodies out front. Slete out into neutral ice. Here comes Patrick Pearson the other way. Pearson drops off to Slete. Pad stop there from Crecilius. And out with it comes, looks like that's going to be Goretzky. Drops off to Lee. Good shoulder check there from Pearson. Collected by Aurelio. Aurelio just going to play it back to Sawai. Sawai couldn't quite get a clean pass off there. Down there is Christian Lee. Or sorry, Clayton Lee. Here's Slate. It's going to be collected by Paulson. Across the Canavan. Back to Paulson. Paulson in the Vandal zone. Played back in to neutral ice. Good pressure here from the Vikings. Running what looks like a 1-2-2 out here. Good forecheck from Andre Shapiro. The fourth line. Already one goal here tonight. Looking for another. Ethan Sandberg out there for the Vikings. It's going to be played by Clayton Lee. Back to Paulson. Kept in at the line by Aurelio. That's going to be played back the other way by Canavan. Here he comes. Canavan drops off to Ludwig, but a shot that goes off sides. Or the Vandals are offsides. We get a whistle. Face off won by the Vandals. And Ethan Secor going to get it out into neutral ice. Here comes Andrew Fan. He busts in, gets it to Brumbaugh out front. He scores! Brett Brumbaugh! Good wheels the other way by Ethan, or it looks like Andrew Fan. Brett Brumbaugh out front, and he just roofs it top shelf. Vikings have a 2-0 lead. Face off won by the Vikings. They get it yet again. Brett Brumbaugh. Over to Aaron James. Andrew Fan almost had a wide open net there. Good. Or sorry, Andrew Fan fed Aaron James out front. The Vikings almost extend their lead even further. Battling down there is Aaron James. Tied up and taken away by Brett Brumbaugh. Good clean check there from the Vandals. Joey Vaughn. Collected by Hunter Smith. Here he comes. Going to chip a pass up to Aaron James. Here's James into the zone. James tries to find Brumbaugh out front. Wonderful move there from number 91 for the Vikings. Collected by Luke Adams. Adams try to get it over to Mongo, but stolen away by Deegan. Deegan into the zone, busts in, tries to get it out to Webster out front, and he misses. And Jacob James down low to Chapman. Chapman with it for the Vikings. Circling around, gets it over to Johnson. Carver Johnson for the right circle. Shot that sails wide. Here's Webster. Shot that deflects off the stick of Stotzner. Good forward check there from Webster, but it's played off Carver Johnson. 9:07 left in the first period. 2-0 Vikings. Shots 14-2 in favor of the Vikings. Jesse Deegan not able to get to the line, but good job there by Jacob James to win the race. Collected by Tyler Chapman. Chapman with it for the Viking. Gets it up to Aurelio. Aurelio with a shot from the left point that hits a body out front. It's going to be collected by Stotzner. He's going to get it up to, it's like that Skoreski for the Vandals. Here comes Patrick Pearson. Pearson tries to find Chapman out front. We're going to have a penalty on the play. Looks like that's going to go against the Vandals. The Vikings are going to go to the power play for the first time tonight. Face-off won by the Vikings. Ethan Secord with it from the high slot. Gets it over to Aaron James. Back to Secord. Over to Andrew Fan at the left circle. Back to Secord. Back to Fan. Fan from the left circle. Gets it over to Secord out front, or in the high slot. Back to Fan. Over to Secord. Brumbaugh from the top of the right circle. Gets it to Aaron James. Back to Secord. Over to Andrew Fan with a one-time that sails up and wide. We get a whistle with 7:56 left in the first period. Face-off won by the Vandals. They played all the way down. 1:23 left on the power play for the Vikings. Secord going to collect it and skate it himself. Here comes Secord. Busted in. Secord wrapping it around it. Looking for an option. Finds Andrew Fan. Fan over to Secord. Secord back to Fan from the left circles. Fan with a shot that sails wide. Played around to Secord. Secord creeps in. Over to Brumbaugh from the red circle. We're going to have a whistle on a hand pass there. Face off, tied up there, won by Declan Quinn. Quick with the shot there off the draw. Declan back to Harrison Webster. Power play 2 out there for the Vikings. Deegan over to Chapman from the left face off dot. And puck sails out of play. Face-off won by the Vandals, but the Vikings quick to collect it. Deegan able to keep it in. Deegan drops off to Chapman. Chapman creeps in from the slot. Shot tipped up and out of play by Quinn. We get another whistle. Face-off won by the Vikings. Here's Deegan with it. Deegan creeps in, tipped out front by Webster. Vandals able to clear it all the way down. 6:35 left in the first period. One last rush opportunity on the power play. And that will do it for the power play for the Vikings. Out of the box comes Stotzner for the Vandals. Back to 5-on-5. Here comes Declan Quinn the other way. Good forecheck there from Tyler Chapman. Man, the Vikings doing really good at being in the right place at the right time over these last few games. Just felt their forecheck has been ever present recently. Here's Jesse Deegan with it. Deegan tried to play it up to Jackson Wojcicki. Wojcicki into the zone. Wojcicki out front. He scores! Jackson Wojcicki, his second goal of the game. Makes it 3-0 Western. Face-off won by the Vikings, and they get it all the way down. Played by Mongo. Forechecking yet again is Jackson Wojcicki. Good job there by Wojcicki to collect the loose change. Get his third goal of the season. It's going to be played back into the Vandals zone. Mongo with it for the Vandals. Collected by Aurelio and back into neutral ice. Here comes Ludwig with it for the Vandals. Good back checking there by Aurelio. Big body there from Nicholas Sawai. And Aurelio able to play it back into neutral ice. Here comes Brett Brumbaugh the other way. Brumbaugh with the goal here tonight. Ludwig back into the Vandal zone. Adams, good forecheck there by Fan. Over to James, out to Brumbaugh out front. Brumbaugh, and he's going to be hauled down by Clayton Lee. No call there. They're going to whistle it dead on a hand pass. Face-off won by the Vikings. Here comes Ethan Secor with the burst of speed. Tried to get it to Aaron James. He can't have been out with it for the Vandals. Over to Paulson, and he's just going to ice it all the way down. 4:30 left in the first period. Face-off won by the Vikings. Here's Ethan Secor from the right point. Shot that tipped over the net. It's on top of the net. Looks like Andrew Fan was batting at it there. It was laying on top of the net for a good second there. Here's Brett Brumbaugh. Gonna swing it down to Andrew Fan. He's gonna try the Michigan. Nearly had it go in. Chris Silius. Andrew Fan almost doing the Michigan there. We're going to see it at some point this season. The way he's been shooting the puck recently, there's no doubt in my mind we will be seeing the Michigan from number 17. Here's Chapman out front. Jacob James with the shot there. It's going to be back into neutral ice, played by the Vandals, collected by Mongo. Mongo over to Adams for the Vandals. Body there by Harrison Webster. Here the Vandals into the zone. Shot there by, looks like that was Reagan Graves. Shot Another shot by, looks like that was Joey Vaughn. A couple of shots there from the Vandals as they try to get on the board late in this first period. Face off won by the Vikings. Declan Quinn battling down there, collected by Deegan and out. Here's Patrick Pearson gonna forecheck. Good body there from Pearson, able to keep it alive. Played there by Slate. Kyler Sletty behind the net, looking for an option. Gets it out to Patrick Pearson, played by Clayton Lee. And Lee's able to get it out into neutralize Deegan with it for the Vikings. Johnson shoots it in. Slate with it for the Vikings, played by Lee. Big body there from Nicholas Sawai. Aurelia able to get it over to Patrick Pearson. 2-on-2 opportunity. Pearson out in on goal and smothered by Crecilius, and we have an injured Vandal on the ice. Face off one by the Vikings. Nicholas Sawai ain't able to keep it in. Played by Aurelio. He tried to find Jackson Wojcicki with 2 goals here tonight. Adam Paulson chipped it over to Canavan for the Vandals. Body there from Ethan Sandberg. Back the other way, here comes Andre Shapiro for the Vikings. Shapiro busting in, tries to find Sandberg out front. To no avail. Shapiro from the left corner tried to find Sandberg yet again, and that's played back into neutral ice. Going to be collected by Aurelio for the Vikings. Does a little pirouette there. Drop off to Nicholas Sawai, who's going to bust into the Vandal zone. Sawai tried to evade a check there from Canavan, and that's played into the corner. Sawai collected by Canavan. Here's Jackson Wojcicki. He tries for the hat trick there. Shot that tipped. Shot out front. Sticked away by Crecilius. And back the other way. Here comes Clayton Lee. He's going to play it up to Goretzky. Or sorry, not Clayton Lee. That's going to be Jackson Kirkwood. Number 4. Jackson Wojcicki going to play it up to Ethan Secord. Here's Secord into the Vandal zone. Quick shot on goal. Gloved away by Crecilius. Body there by Ethan Sandberg. Sandberg bound in the Viking zone. Here's Hunter Smith with 1 minute left in the first period. Brumbaugh with it. Brumbaugh phase an attacker or a defender there. Body there by Ethan Sandberg, who's hemming the Vandals in their own zone. Battling with Brett Brumbaugh. Long shift here for Ethan Sandberg, but he's making the most of it. Brett over to Fan. Fan looking for Brumbaugh out front. Sandberg has been stuck out there quite a while. Tried to get it out to Sandberg out front, and here comes Secord. Hunter Smith able to get it into the Vandal zone. Good battle down there with Jackson Kirkwood. Here's Andrew Fan with 5 seconds left in the period. Moves out front, and that will do it. So the Vikings get 3 goals to start this one. 2 of them courtesy of Jackson Wojcicki, and 1 from Brett Brumbaugh, who reclaims the lead for the team lead for goals with 17 on the season. We'll be back in 20 or so minutes from Bellingham Sportsplex.
And tonight is
What's your favorite band?
Ooh, favorite band? Secret, what's a good band?
Band? That's a hard question.
I know. Remember my ACDC recently, bro. Getting back into this.
Motley Crue.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Ooh, I'd say Fleetwood Mac.
ACDC?
Ariana Grande.
Modest Mouse. Oh, King Gibbs.
Motley Crue.
Metallica.
Favorite band? I have two favorite artists, Jake Paul and KSI.
I have to go with the Lumineers.
this way, and he Quinn in. Shoots and scores! Declan Quinn powers his way towards the net. Chapman, over to James. In! He scores! Jacob James.
As Stevens waffles. Over to Brumbaugh. It's loose. Hunter Smith. Shot on goal. He
Cooper Hunter Smith collects the loose change.
Plus injured twice. Shot from Jacob James from the far wall. Trying to pass out front to Pearson. He scores.
Patrick Pearson. And the Western Washington Vikings. Aaron James already into the zone. Open! Gets a pass out from the Brumbaugh, and he scores. Sate trying to get it out to Chapman. He scores. Tyler Chapman, he busts in. Good pass there from Slinte. Chips it up to Declan Quinn. In on Loveland. Shot on goal. He scores. Declan Quinn, his second goal of the game. Gonzaga's chips it in, battling with Julian Salactica. Here's Quinn. And a shot on goal. Declan Quinn has a hat trick. Looking for his fourth of the evening. Quinn. And Sawai keeps it in. Out front, Jackson Wojcicki, he scores! Jackson Wojcicki, his first goal of the season. And the Vikings have put up double digits. Down low to Wojcicki. Here's Bowers. 7 seconds left, and that'll do it. The Vikings get their 7th straight victory. 10-4. Here's Secord across the blue line. Cuts in. Shot on goal, he scores! Ethan Secord. Out there is Brett Brumbaugh. He collects it and tries to go for a skate himself. Here comes Brumbaugh. Shot on goal, he scores! Brett Brumbaugh goes for a skate. And Andrew Fan, here comes Aaron James, 3-on-1 opportunity. Fan over to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh from the slide, he scores! Brett Brumbaugh, his second goal of the game, and the Vikings have extended their lead to 3-1. Bulldogs play it all the way down into the Vikings' end. Secord gonna collect it for the Vikings, go for a skate himself. Secord cutting in with his edge work, he shoots, he scores! End to end, Ethan Secord. It is 5-2, Western. Delays, gets it over to Secord. Secord down low to Andrew Fan, he creeps in. Hunter Smith, he scores! Cooper Hunter Smith. Face off won by the Vikings, and Aaron James, he scores! Aaron James, his second goal of the game. With Secord and Hunter Smith. Secord from the high, and a shot and a goal by Andrew Fan, his first of the night. Across the blue line. Try to dangle Aaron James there. Here comes Andrew Fan. 2-on-0 opportunity. Fan over to James. Back to Fan. He scores! Andrew Fan, the Waffle Man. Everybody gets a coupon to Sweetest Waffles tonight. Tried to get it over to Declan Quinn. 3-on-2 opportunity for the Vikings. Slite. Pad stop. Rebound out front. Jesse Deegan, he scores. Things up. Declan Quinn here. Quinn with a hat trick last night. Up to Secord. He shoots. He scores. Ethan Secord has the hat trick. Well, on their way to their 10th win of the season. Big body there from Julian Zalactica. And that'll do it. So the Vikings with an 11-3 win. A hat trick from Ethan Secord. Multiple goals from Brett Brumbaugh and Andrew Finn.
What's your favorite band?
Ooh, favorite band? Secret, what's a good band?
Band? That's a hard question.
I know. Remember my AC/DC recently, bro. Getting back into this.
Motley Crue.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Ooh, I'd say Fleetwood Mac.
AC/DC?
Ariana Grande.
Camp.
Modest Mouse. Oh, King Gibbs.
Motley Crue.
Metallica.
Favorite band? I have two favorite artists, Jake Paul and KSI.
I have to go with the Lumineers.
And we are back for the second period of action between the Western Washington Vikings and the Idaho Vandals. As the Vikings enter the period with a 3-0 lead, courtesy of goals from Jackson Wojcicki, 2 from number 72, and Brett Brumbaugh. Early action into the Vandals zone by the first line for the Vikings. Here's Livbeg with a shot, blocked there by Cooper Hunter-Smith. Another shot from Livbeg, and that's gloved by Wilder. Face-off won by the Vandals, collected by Mongo. Here is Andrew Fan back into neutral ice. Adams just going to swing it in for the Vandals. Going to be stopped behind the net by Wilder. Here's Hunter Smith with it for the Vikings. He gets it up to Aaron James. James busting across the blue line, gets over to Fan. Fan from the slot, shot blocked there by Clayton Lee. It's loose behind the net, collected by Mongo. He gets it over to Lee. Back to James in the slot. Kind of a shot pass there. Fan over to Hunter Smith. Back to Fan. Tried to get him in the left circle. And here comes the Vandals in breaking in. Good back checking there from Cooper Hunter Smith. That's back into neutral ice. Here comes Andrew Fan, 2-on-1. Busting in with Cooper Hunter Smith. Fan with it behind the net. Tries the body there. Fan from the right circle. Try to drop it off to James yet again. And back into neutral ice. Here comes Canavan for the Vandals. Hunter Smith collects it. Over to Aaron James. James with it for the Vikings. Going to try to bust his way in towards Canavan. The Vandals try to stretch a pass, and that finds its way all the way in on Jack Wilder. We get a whistle with 18-17 left in the second period. Glad you could join us from Bellingham Sportsplex as the Vandals and the Western Vikings meet for the third of 3 games between these two this season. The Vikings taking the first 2 convincingly 11-1 a couple weekends ago in Moscow, and then last night taking it 12-2. So the Vikings looking to get the season sweep of the Vandals here tonight. Here's Chapman busting into the Vandal zone. Chapman, good play there from Canavan to keep it out of harm's way. Canavan, good battle there from Jacob James. Patrick Pearson playing it in neutral ice. Nick Salwai just going to chip it in deep. 17:36 left in the second period. 3-0 Vikings. Here's the Vikings back in neutral ice. Salwai with it. Pearson going to collect it. Back to Sawai, and he's going to settle it down in neutral or in the Viking zone, and he's going to try to chip it up to Pearson. Pearson able to beat the icing there. Good job there from the senior forward from Redmond, Washington. Crecilius covers. Face off won by the Vandals as it's played to the left of Idaho. Cooper Hunter-Smith swings it in to late offsides. Vandals able to recollect, settle things down behind their own net. Mongo trying to play it up. Here's Ludwig with it across the Vikings blue line. Vandals try to get something going here. Here's Declan Quinn with it, battling down there with Jesse Deegan. Declan Quinn back the other way. Here comes Quinn trying to chip it up to Harrison Webster. Luke Adams just going to play it into neutral ice. Collected by Hunter Smith for the Vikings, and here he comes. Cooper Hunter Smith from Seattle, Washington. Hunter Smith with 5 goals on the season. Here's Mongo with it for the Vandals, battling with Declan Quinn, collected by Webster. He tried to center it pass to Slate. Carver Johnson centered it past. Kept in by Hunter Smith. Here's Clayton Lee for the Vandals. Vandals in their cream uniforms. Out front to Carver Johnson, nearly had a open look in the slot there. Body there from Declan Quinn. Kyler Slate battling down there. Declan Quinn. Andre Shapiro with it for the Vikings. Chipped down low. Here's Declan Quinn out front to Shapiro. That's going to be covered up by Crecilius. The Vikings played back into neutral ice. If it sounds like we're a little preoccupied up here, it's because Game 7 of the World Series between the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. As the Dodgers and the Blue Jays look for a World Series title. It is currently in the bottom of the 9th with two men out, with Addison Barger up to bat. But we're here to play a hockey game, as the Vandals steer a shot in on goal. So they try to center a pass there. Here's Jackson Wojcicki, played up to Andre Shapiro. Back in the Viking zone, recollected by Nicholas Sawai. Up to Anderson. Anderson able to keep it in. Collected by Sawai yet again. He gets it over to Anderson. Anderson going to try to chip it off the boards and into neutral ice. Jackson Wojcicki going to settle it behind the net. Over to Shapiro. Shapiro along the far wall over there. And here comes the Vandals the other way. Quick shot. Good block there from Jesse Deegan. Another shot from Lidvig and covered by Jack Wilder. Face off tied up, won by the Vikings. Here comes Brett Brumbaugh. He's going to chip it up to Aaron James. 2-on-1 opportunity for the Vikings. Aaron James over the fan out front, and good save there from Crecilius. Over his Aaron James, and back the other way. Here come the Vandals. Here's Lidvig with it for Idaho. Lidvig in on goal, tries to find somebody out front. And the Vikings able to steer it out of harm's way. Good action back and forth here for the Vikings and the Vandals. Here's Hunter Smith across the blue line. Hunter Smith with a shot that sails wide. Aaron James with another shot from the far wall. Here's Fan with it. A shot on goal. Patted away by Crecilius. Over to Brumbaugh from the right dot. Shot on goal. Blocked by Aaron James inadvertently. And that's going to be played by the Vandals all the way down into the Viking zone. No icing on the play. Going to be played by Wilder. Here comes Hunter Smith. Busting into the Vandal zone. Try to pass it to Brumbaugh. Here's Aaron James out front. Loose bodies out front. Looks like Brett Brumbaugh was hauled down. Here's Andrew Fan. He busts in. He shoots it, and that's going to sail up and almost out of play. Aaron James going to recollect it. Over to Fan. Fan with it for the Vikings. Gets it up to James in the slot. Covered up by Crecilius. With 12:03 left in the second period. We got some action out front. Face off won by the Vikings, played over to Chapman. Here's Johnson with a shot that's patted away. Shot opportunity from the Vandals, and that's going to draw a penalty. Looks like Tyler Chapman cross-checked with 11:53 left in the second period. Face off won by the Vikings. Vikings go to the power play. It's going to be 4-on-3 for the next few minutes. Here's James back to Chapman in the slot. Shot blocked there by Canavan. He's going to steer it, try to steer it back into neutral ice. Collected by Chapman from the left circle. Creeps in. Shot on goal. And Carver Johnson, good save there from Crecilius. That almost looked like it went in. Jack Wilder. Man, Carver Johnson out front being the outlet. Here's Tyler Chapman the other way. Chapman busting in. Tried to find Deegan. Over to James. Back to Chapman in the slot. Gonna dangle. Over to Deegan. Deegan back to Chapman. Back to Deegan. Deegan from the left circle. Shot. Hits a stanchion. Loose out front. And the Vandals able to clear it all the way down. Here's Wilder. Gonna settle things down. 48 seconds on the coincidental minors to Andrew Fan. And looks like that was Reagan Graves for the Idaho Vandals. Here's Aaron James back the other way. James with a burst of speed. Looking for an option. He gets it over to Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith back over to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh from the right circle creeps in. Looking for an option. Drops it off to Aaron James. James from the left circle. Brett Brumbaugh trying to call for it back door. Aaron James chips it back to Hunter Smith. Shot on goal and seen all the way by Crecilius. We get a whistle. 10:06 left in the second. Face-off played out in the neutral ice. Out of the box is Fan and Graves. Here's Secord from the right circle. Secord drops it off to Andrew Fan. Graves with a little bit of a forecheck and out of the box is Desjardins for the Vandals. So back to 5-on-5. 9:42 left in the second period. Shots 31-9 in favor of the Vandals, or sorry, the Vikings. Wilder. Good pass there to Ethan Secord. He's going to try to look for something. Big body there from Clayton Lee in neutral ice. Harrison Webster looking for some contact, and they're going to call him for an elbow. Here are the Vandals with it, looking for some action here. Paulson over to Lee. Lee over to Ludwig from the left circle. Shot on, blocked away by Wilder. Battling is Nick Selway. He tries to chip it off the glass. Kept in by Paulson. Paulson creeps in. Shot on Wilder, and it trickles in. Adam Paulson gets the Vandals on the board. Good work by number 29 for the Vandals to look for an opportunity, and he got it, and it is 3-1. So Jack Wilder was a little slow to get up after that play. Looks like he's doing fine. Jesse Deegan going to recollect it. And Vandals make this game interesting with 8:29 left in the second period. Here's Brett Brumbaugh with it. Back across the blue line. Brumbaugh. Back to James. Carver Johnson with a shot. Looking for an opportunity wide. Jesse Deegan back. Recollects it for the Vikings. Brumbaugh tried to collect it yet again. Here's Paulson with it. Goal scorer for the Vandals here tonight. Paulson going to try to spring a pass up to Graves. No icing on the play. And here comes Deegan. Here's Andrew Fan busting in. Trying to find Aaron James out front. Here come the Vandals the other way. Desjardins into the Viking zone. Wildhurt able to steer it away. Here's Secord. Over to Aaron James. James going to get it up to Brumbaugh. Good drop pass there from Andrew Fan back into the Viking zone. Shot on goal from Aaron James, and it finds its way in. Looks like that was Aaron James. He scores. And the Vikings have a 4-1 lead. Here's Patrick Pearson busting in yet again. Pearson with a shot on goal. Patted away by Crecilius. Good pressure there from the first line for the Vikings. Just busting towards the net. Making something happen. Here's Jacob James into the zone. Pad stop there from Crecilius. Kept in by Nicholas Salwai from the left point. Gets it over to Pearson. Pearson trying to find Chapman down low. Mongo. We're going to have a whistle for a hand pass. So Aaron James with the goal. James, his 12th goal of the season. So the face-off will be to the right of Crecilius with 6:43 left in the second period. Loose out front for Jacob James. And Pearson. Play down low. Here's Pearson. Battling with Chapman. Chapman going to collect it behind the net. Pressuring there is Mongo. Nick Salwai with a shot from the left point. Mongo battling down there. Here's Chapman with it. Aaron, looks like Jacob James. He scores. Beats him short side. The Vikings have a 5-1 lead. 36 shots for the Vikings thus far here tonight. Jacob James. Almost said Aaron James. That's my apologies. Loose out front. The Vandals able to get a score there. Looks like that was Clayton Lee. So the Vandals cut the lead to 3 for the Vikings. Face off at center ice, won by Jackson Wojcicki. Here's Ethan Secor busting in. Shot on goal, covered by Crecilius. 5:54 left in the second period. Like, so Clayton Lee gets the Vandals their second goal of the evening. Battling down there is Ethan Sandberg. He's going to try to play it out front. Shapiro out there with Jackson Wojcicki with 2 goals here tonight. Here's Sandberg. Battling. Around the wall to Cooper Hunter Smith, going to be collected by Ethan Secord. Over to Hunter Smith. Hunter Smith for the Vikings. Battle there with the Vandals. Desjardins. Here's Ethan Secord. He's going to go for a skate himself. Secord with a cut. Tried to find Shapiro. Shapiro didn't seem to see it. Secord plays it all the way in. Here's Adams. Over to Ludwig. Played to Andrew Fan. Here's Fan busting into the zone. Fan in on goal. Pad stop there from Crecilius. It's played into the corner. Left circle. James with the pass out front. Brumbaugh tried to steer it on goal. Andrew Fan, he scores! Good action from the first line. Aaron James with a pass from the left wall. Gets it over to Brumbaugh, who stuffs it on goal. And Andrew Fan stuffs it home. 4:45 left in the second period. The Vikings lead 6-2. Andrew Fan, his 17th goal of the season, matching Brett Brumbaugh yet again for the team lead. Here's Nick Sawai from the left point. Shot that's blocked by Goretzky, and Nick Sawai with a big body there of Vandals Jackson Kirkwood. Body there from Kirkwood yet again, and they're going to call that one. Jackson Kirkwood. Andrew Fan. Off the ice is Jack Wilder. So 6-on-5 with the delay penalty. Andrew Fan going to get it up to Aaron James. Plays it up to Jacob James. It's off his stick. Steered around by the Vikings. The Vikings get a power play to end this second period, or near the end of the second period. Here's Tyler Chapman with it for the Vikings. Up to James at the left point. He's going to pass it off to Chapman. Back to James. James out front. Shot from Quinn that sails wide. Up with the puck is Chapman at the left point. He creeps into the slot. Shot on goal. Blocked out there by Quinn. It's loose in a pile of bodies, and Harrison Webster, he scores. Harrison Webster collects the loose change and extends the Vikings lead to 7-2. Harrison Webster, his first goal of the season. Sent the Viking lead to 7-2. He definitely needed that one. Love that we're getting some unconventional names on the score sheet tonight. Webster and Wojcicki And Jacob James covered by Crecilius out front. We get a whistle. 2:52 left in the second period.
Number 17 and
Face off one. Shot from Chapman that sails. Hit Crecilius out front, and the puck sails all the way down into the Vikings' end. Ludwig with the pressure there. He gets it out to Goretzky. Collected by Jacob James and out into neutral ice. Puck just up in the air for a long time. Battling out there, stuffing away at it. And here comes Pearson the other way. We're going to get a penalty on the Vikings. It's going to be whistled on interference. Face off won by the Vikings as they go to the PK to end this second period. Here's Shapiro. Over to Clayton Lee. Clayton Lee with the shot. Looked like it was going wide, but covered by Wilder. We get a whistle. 2 minutes left in this second period. The Vikings lead 7-2. Won by the Vikings. Vandals able to collect it. Try to get it out to Ludwig. Here's Paulson with it for the Vandals. Over to Clayton Lee. Back to Paulson. Over to Ludwig. Ludwig from the left circle. Shot on goal and he scores. Goes 5-hole on Jack Wilder. And the Vandals get a power play goal of their own. Make it 7-3. So Robert Ludwig with a goal for the Vandals towards the end of this period. Aurelia with a pass to Aaron James. Ludwig back with it for the Vandals, but they are offsides. 1:28 left in the second period. Shots 41-18 in favor of the Vikings here tonight. Won by the Vandals. They get a quick shot. Looks like that was Reagan Graves with the shot attempt there. One opportunity for the Vikings, and that'll do it. Shot from Tyler Chapman after the at the buzzer. And that'll do it. 7-3 Vikings after the second period. Vikings get goals from Aaron James, Jacob James, Andrew Finn, and Harrison Webster. We'll be back in about 18 minutes here from Bellingham Sportsplex.
What's your favorite band?
Ooh, favorite band? Secret, what's a good band?
Band? That's a hard question.
I know. Remember my AC/DC recently, bro. Getting back into this.
Motley Crue.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Ooh, I'd say Fleetwood Mac.
AC/DC?
Ariana Grande.
Modest Mouse. Oh, King Gibbs.
Motley Crue.
Metallica.
Favorite band? I have two favorite artists, Jake Paul and KSI.
I have to go with the Lumineers. Quinn in. Shoots and scores!
Declan Quinn powers his way towards the net.
Chapman. Over to James. In!
He scores! Jacob James.
Sent off as Sweeters waffles. Over to Brumbaugh. It's loose. Hunter Smith. Shot on goal. He
Cooper Hunter Smith collects the loose change.
Bucks into the ice. Shot from Jacob James from the far wall. Try to pass out front to Pearson. He scores!
Patrick Pearson. And the Western Washington Vikings. Aaron James already into the zone. Oh, man! Gets a pass out from the Brumbaugh, and he scores. Carlos Sete. Sete trying to get it out to Chapman. He scores. Tyler Chapman, he busts in. Good pass there from Slinte. Chips it up to Declan Quinn. In on Loveland. Shot on goal. He scores! Declan Quinn, his second goal of the game. Gonzaga's zone chips it in. Battling with Julian Salactica. Here's Quinn. And a shot on goal! Declan Quinn has a hat trick. Looking for his fourth of the evening. Quinn. And Sawai keeps it in. Out front, Jackson Wojcicki, he scores! Jackson Wojcicki, his first goal of the season. And the Vikings have put up double digits. Down low to Wojcicki. Here's Bowers. 7 seconds left, and that'll do it. The Vikings get their 7th straight victory. 10-4. Here's Secord across the blue line. Cuts in. Shot on goal, he scores! Ethan Secord. Out there is Brett Brumbaugh. He collects it and tries to go for a skate himself. Here comes Brumbaugh. Shot on goal, he scores! Brett Brumbaugh goes for a skate. Andrew Fan, here comes Aaron James, 3-on-1 opportunity. Fan, over to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh from the slide, he scores! Brett Brumbaugh, his second goal of the game, and the Vikings have extended their lead to 3-1. Bulldogs play it all the way down into the Vikings' end. Secord gonna collect it for the Vikings. Go for a skate himself. Secord cutting in with his edge work. He shoots. He scores! End to end. Ethan Secord. It is 5-2. Western delays. Gets it over to Secord. Secord down low to Andrew Fan. He creeps in. Hunter Smith. He scores! Cooper Hunter Smith. Face off won by the Vikings, and Aaron James, he scores. Aaron James, his second goal of the game. With Secord and Hunter Smith. Secord from the high, and a shot and a goal by Andrew Fan, his first of the night. Across the blue line. Try to dangle Aaron James there. Here comes Andrew Fan. 2-on-0 opportunity. Fan over to James. Back to Fan. He scores! Andrew Fan, the Waffle Man. Everybody gets a coupon to Sweetest Waffles tonight. Try to get it over to Declan Quinn. 3-on-2 opportunity for the Vikings. Slite. Pad stop. Rebound out front. Jesse Deegan. He scores. Things up. Declan Quinn here. Declan Quinn with a hat trick last night. Up to Secord. He shoots. He scores. Ethan Secord has the hat trick. Well, on their way to their 10th win of the season. Big body there from Julian Zalactica. And that'll do it. So the Vikings with an 11-3 win. A hat trick from Ethan Secord. Multiple goals from Brett Brumbaugh and Andrew Fair.
What's your favorite band?
Ooh, favorite band? Secret, what's a good band?
Band? That's a hard question.
I know. Remember my AC/DC recently, bro. Getting back into this.
Motley Crue.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Ooh, I'd say Fleetwood Mac.
AC/DC?
Ariana Grande.
Modest Mouse. Oh, King Gibbs. Motley Crue.
Metallica.
Favorite band? I have two favorite artists, Jake Paul and KSI.
I have to go with the Luminaires.
All right, we're back at it for the final period of play between the Idaho Vandals and the Western Washington Vikings. Aaron James, in what looked like an Arena League start there, shot on goal from Brett Brumbaugh. I don't know if many of you have seen the Arena Football League, but shot from Ethan Secor from the high point. In Arena Football, they have, I think it's called a gunner, something like that, but like it starts, the guy starts from well behind the line of scrimmage, like 10 yards. And the ball is snapped immediately as he gets to the line of scrimmage. So that's kind of what Aaron James just did, as he wasn't quite ready to take the draw there. Here's Andrew Fan in the Viking zone, collected by Hunter Smith. He gets it up to Fan. Back to Ludwig. Fan gonna trip him up there. No call on the play. Gotten up to Aaron James. James in. Dagels. He scores! No, he doesn't. Oh, he didn't score. Aaron James. It looked like he maybe had tucked it back door. It was out of my vantage point. But Man, the Vikings almost get their 8th goal of the game. And Aaron James almost dangling an opponent there. Here's Canavan with it for the Vandals. Ludwig. Canavan. Lee plays it down low. Canavan takes a fall there. Lee trying to find Kotzner out front. Kotzner with it for the Vandals. Back to Canavan. Canavan plays it to Ludwig. That's going to be intercepted by Jacob James. He's going to take it back the other way. James going to chip it in to the corner there for the Vikings. Pearson down low to Chapman. Battling with Jacob James. James. And out with it is Lee. Clayton Lee for the Vandals. Kept in by Nick Salwai, the Waffle Man here tonight. Nick Salwai scores 2 goals. Everybody in the arena gets a 50% off coupon to Sweetest Waffles. Thanks to our friends at Sweetest Waffles for setting that up. Played by Kotzner. Here come the Vandals the other way. Good stick there from Tyler Chapman. Aurelio. Pearson busting into the Vandal zone from the left circle. Tried to drop a pass off to Nick Sawai. Sawai able to chip it down low. Pearson with it. Beneath the goal line, tried to pass it to Webster. Webster trying to find Quinn out front. The Vandals able to get it out into the Vikings zone all the way down. No icing on the play. Kyler Slate back there for the Vikings. Played up to Webster. Declan Quinn trying to chip it into neutral ice. Kyler Slate going to send it the length of the ice. For icing, we get a whistle. 17:01 left in the... Just learned up here that the Dodgers have won their 2nd consecutive World Series. Congratulations to the Dodgers. As we play here in Bellingham Sportsplex. Here's Webster. He's hauled down. Nick Sowai. Harrison Webster with it behind the net. Looking for Slate. Going to get it up to Declan Quinn. Quinn from the high slot. Back to Quinn yet again. He's going to get a 3rd opportunity. Puck was bouncing up in the air, collected by the Vandals. They get it back in on Wouterd, and he scores. Kind of just a sloppy chip in, but it works out. Looks like that was number 22, Joey Vaughn for the Vandals. He makes it 7-4. Here comes Canavan into the Viking zone. Vandals get on the board here in the 3rd period. First, Paulson from the high slot tipped up and out of play. Won by the Vandals. They get it down into neutral ice. Here's Paulson. He's going to recollect it for Idaho. Vandals all of a sudden making it a game. So they look to battle their way back into this one. Vikings looking for their 3rd straight win against Idaho this season. They're looking for their 9th win overall, or 9th overall straight win. 9th straight win. Cooper Hunter-Smith with a shot that's blocked. Tristan Anderson with a shot that sails wide. Vikings 11-1 on the season. 7-1 in Pac-8 play. These games this weekend don't count for Pac-8 points, but they're definitely valuable nonetheless. Jackson Wojcicki played around. Andrew Fan, he's going to be hauled down, and that's going to be a penalty. Almost had Brumbaugh up front. It's still loose, and it's going to be touched up by the Vandals. We get a stoppage. Face-off won by Andrew Fan. Looks like that was a false start. So false start on the face-off. They're going to redo it with 14:57 left in the third period. Plenty of time left in this one. Vikings go to the power play. Out there is Andrew Fan, Cooper Hunter-Smith, Brett Brumbaugh, Ethan Secord, and Aaron James. James with it. Over to Secord. Secord creeping, looking. Over to Fan. Back to Brumbaugh from the right dot. Puck sails high and wide. Over to Secord. Back over to Brumbaugh. Brumbaugh to James. Drop pass to Brumbaugh from the right circle. Out front to Hunter Smith. Shot on goal from Andrew Fan. Hits the crossbar. Wide open net there for Fan. Shot on goal by Secord that sails wide. Played by Hunter Smith for the Vikings. He drops it to Andrew Fan. Secord finds Aaron James in the left circle. Andrew Fan with it. Point-to-point pass. Gets it over to James. Out front to Brumbaugh. Just whiffs on a one-time opportunity, and the Vandals able to get it all the way down. Settled by Wilder with a minute left in the power play for the Vikings. Here comes Secord with it. Secord going to get it off to Webster. Back to Secord. Secord going to kind of chip a pass up and over the net. Fan unable to connect on a pass to Aaron James. James going to collect it. Gets a pass up to Pearson. Canavan gets it in towards Wilder. It kind of takes a weird bounce there. And Chapman. Here comes Tyler Chapman into the Vandal zone. That's going to be recollected. 16 seconds left on the power play for the Vikings. Wilder going to settle behind the net. Here's Jesse Deegan with it. Deegan passes it up to Tyler Chapman. Canavan for the Vandals. Out of the box comes Paulson. So we're back to 5-on-5. Jacob James. Down low to Chapman. Chapman tries to find Webster out front. Stick there from Webster. No call. It looks like it was a slash there. Puck played all the way down into the Vandals' end. Pearson with a body, and that's going to be called for a board. They're going to call Pearson. So the Vikings will go to the PK. Face-off won by the Vandals. They get a power play. Shot on goal. Batted away by Wilder. And Kyler Sauté able to chip it into neutral ice. Here's Clayton Lee with it for the Vandals. Gets it to Adam Paulson. Paulson kind of resetting, looking for clean zone entry. Here comes Paulson across the blue line. He just dumps it in. Played over to Graves. Sauté able to play it back into neutral ice for the Vikings. Here's Lee with it for the Vandals. In neutral ice. Evades a little bit of a check there from Carver Johnson. Lee. Vandals controlling a vast majority of the offensive opportunities to start this third period. Graves with it. Shot from the left point. Blocked there from Declan Quinn, and he's able to play it out into neutral ice all the way down. Good job there from number 34 for the Vikings. Collected by Adam Paulson. Going to drop it off to Ludwig. A little bit of a lack of communication there. Here's Ludwig with it for the Vandals. Big body there from Declan Quinn. Here's Ludwig with it for the Vandals. Shot on goal, sails wide. Here's Andre Shapiro. He's going to chip it up and out into the Vandal zone. 29 seconds left on the power play. One last rush opportunity here for the Vandals. Vandals in their mustard jerseys with a touch of cheddar cheese. Yellow on their jerseys. Vikings in their home navies. Out of the box comes Patrick Pearson. Pass over to all the way down for the Vikings. That's going to be icing. Pearson was out of the box. 10:29 left in the third period. Nick Sawai played out front. The Vandals get a shot on Wilder. He covers. Face off won by the Vikings, played by Secord. Here comes Secord, evades a little bit of a check there from Goretzky. Here comes Andrew Fan busting into the zone. Fan tries to find Brumbaugh out front. He scores! Brett Brumbaugh from a pass from Andrew Fan. Good rush opportunity for the first line. And the Vikings extend their lead. It is 8-4. 10-10 left in the third period.
Brett Brumbaugh, the assist to number 17, Andrew Fan, and number 91, Aaron James. Time of the goal, 10-10.
So Andrew Fan with an assist there on Brett Brumbaugh's goal. Puck won by face-off won by the Vandals. They play it back into their zone. They're just going to play it all the way down. 9:16 left in the third period. Vikings leading 8-4. Canavan. Here comes the Vandals into the zone quickly, and a shot that sails up and out of play. Face off one by Canavan. Here comes Tyler Chapman into the zone. Chapman busting in, gets it to Jacob James out front, looking for his second goal of the game. Here's Jesse Deegan with it from the left point. Gets it to Jacob James. The Vandals able to play it into neutral ice. Shots 46-25 in favor of the Vikings here tonight. Shot covered by Crecilius. So the face-off will be in the Vandal zone. Vikings getting goals tonight from Wojcicki, Brumbaugh, Aaron James, Jacob James, Ban, and Webster. Won by the Vandals. They play it around. Here's Nick Selway with it. Selway tries to play it into the zone. Here comes the Vandals the other way. Kirkwood pressuring. Nick Selway there. Kept in by Mongo. Here's Aurelio with it. Aurelio going to recollect, regather behind the net. Passes it up to Slate out of his reach all the way down. Does not have the it does have the legs for icing. We will get a whistle. With 7:58 left in the third period, the Vikings lead 8-4. Vikings looking for their 5th straight win with double-digit goals. They need 2 more goals to attain that here tonight. Vikings, their 6th straight game they've scored 7 or more. Declan Quinn tried to pass it out front to Webster. Aurelio with a slap shot from the far wall, and it's covered up by Crecilius. Good shot. Good shot there from Aurelio. And the Vikings are still manifesting some offense here at the end of this one with 7:44 left in the third period. Face off won by the Vandals. They get it back into neutral ice. Here is, looks like that was Desjardins with the shot attempt there. Here's Hunter Smith. Gotten out by Wojcicki. Shapiro with it. Paulson, and he chips it in. Jack Wilder collects it. Hunter Smith, body there by Clayton Lee on Hunter Smith. Kind of deflects out front. Played out into neutral ice. Here comes Ethan Secord. He busts in. Secord evades a bit of a check there from Graves, and him and Graves are going at it. Collected by Wojcicki, looking for the hat trick here tonight. Shapiro with it. To Secord, shot on goal. Sails wide. Collected by Sandberg. Hunter Smith over to Secord. Secord tried to chip it to Shapiro. Canavan. Good pressure there from Shapiro. Tried to pass it off to Wojcicki. Collected by Clayton Lee. Hits a stanchion there. Good play by Secord. Hits Secord there, and looks like we're going to have a penalty on Secord. And we're going to have Secord serve a minor for next couple minutes. The Vikings will be back here on home ice next Friday night as they take on the University of California San Diego Tritons. First of 4 games between the Vikings and a school from California that weekend. They'll play UC San Diego Friday, Saturday, and then they'll play the Cal Berkeley Bears Sunday and Monday. I believe Friday's start time will be 9:30 from Bellingham Sportsplex. Important games in the Pac-8 standings, as the Vikings currently hold first place with 14 points, but a couple unbeaten teams, the UW Huskies and the Cal Berkeley Bears, as the Vikings look to obtain Pac-8 glory for the first time. Andrew Fan out there to take the draw with Brett Brumbaugh, Jesse Deegan, and Aaron James. Brumbaugh with a shot from the right circle. Blockered away by Crecilius. Here's James. He plays it down low. That's going to be reset by Paulson. He's just going to take his sweet time. Clayton Lee gets it up to Lidvig. Lidvig drops it to Lee. And Lee across the blue line. Dangerous pass there. Lidvig tried to pass out front to, looks like that was Kotzner. Here's Lidvig with a shot on goal. Almost hit there by Kotzner. Good pass stop there from Wilder. And Brumbaugh's able to play it into neutral ice. Collected by Paulson. The Vikings get a little bit of a change with 54 seconds left on the PK. 5:20 left in regulation. Vikings well on their way to their 10th straight victory. Here's Clayton Lee with it. Keeps it in at the blue line. Drops it to Paulson. Lidvig from the left circle. And what do we have? We're going to get a whistle on, looks like Clayton Lee. He's going to get a call. So the Vikings, it'll be 4-on-4 for the next 31 seconds. And the Vikings will get a power play for a minute and a half. Shots 48-26 in favor of the Vikings here tonight. Out there to take the draw is Patrick Pearson. He wins it. And the Vandals collect it right away. Vandals get it out into neutral ice. Collected by Nicholas Sawai. Over to Tyler Chapman. Tyler Chapman gets it up to Sawai. Chapman's going to be hauled down. No call, or they do call it. So Vikings, once Seacourt's out of the box, they'll get a 5-on-3 for about a minute 30. Vikings look to extend their lead. The faceoff will be in the Vandal zone. Patrick Pearson out there to take the draw with Tyler Chapman. Won by Pearson. Here's Pearson from the right circle. He shoots and scores! Patrick Pearson on the power play gets the Vikings a 9-4 lead. Patrick Pearson right off the draw. Good pass there from Tyler Chapman, it looked like. And Patrick Pearson with his 5th goal of the season makes it 9-3. Tyler Chapman immediately into the zone. The Vikings are on the power play here. Jacob James over to Hunter Smith. Here's Tyler Chapman. He creeps in. He shoots and scores! Tyler Chapman! The Vikings have their 10th goal. Their 5th straight game scoring 10 or more goals. 2 straight power play goals, and the Vikings lead at 10-4. Tyler Chapman. Chapman with his 14th goal of the season. Tailing right behind Fan and Brumbaugh for the team lead. Looks like we got a whistle for offsides there. Jackson Wojcicki out there to take the draw. Patrick Pearson and Tyler Chapman with goals in this 3rd period. Pearson, his 5th of the season. Here's Tristan Anderson into the zone. Tries to get it to Shapiro out front. Good shot attempt there from Shapiro. And the faceoff will be to the right of Crecilius for the Vandals. Faceoff won by Wojcicki. Shot on goal by Secord that hits a face mask out front. Here's Shapiro with pressuring Canavan. Hunter Smith passing down to Shapiro. Tries to evade a check there. Gotten out to Ludwig. It's going to be played up and out off the mooring up there. 3:37 left in the third period. So the Vikings, well on their way to their 11th win of the season.
The assist to number 92, Jacob James. And number 11, Cooper Hunter Smith. Time of the goal, 4:31.
Here's Harrison Webster. Shot from the left circle, sails wide.
The assist to number 92, Jacob James.
Carver Johnson with it in neutral ice.
Hunter Smith. Time of the
Fading a
goal,
bit of a check there.
4:31.
Johnson with the shot on goal that sticked away. Here's Johnson. He's able to keep it in. Canavan with it for the Vandals. Declan Quinn trying to body there. Canavan bodied down by Declan Quinn. That's going to be recollected by Deegan with 3 minutes left in the third period. Glad you could join us from Bellingham Sportsplex, as looks like it's going to be Carver Johnson on a little bit of a late hit there. Love that Carver's just smiling his way to the box. He knows that it was him. 2:53 left in the third period. 50 shots on the evening for the Vikings.
Vikings penalty number 7, 2 minutes for interference. Time
So
of
the
penalty, 2:53.
face-off will be to the left of Jack Wilder, won by Clayton Lee. Lee gets it over to Paulson. Vandals go on the power play here. Towards the end of this one, Paulson hits a stanchion. Looks like that was Aaron James who was able to clear it all the way down. Clayton Lee with it for the Vandals. Going to drop it off to nobody. Drop pass to Adam Paulson. Paulson with it for the Vandals. Has a goal here tonight. Gotten up to Lidvig. Good little shimmy there to avoid a check from Andrew Fan. Lidvig powers his way down behind the net. Looking for an option. He gets it up to Clayton Lee. Lee back to Lidvig from the left circle. Shot on goal. Unable to get a clean shot up. And it's played back into neutral. Almost into neutral ice. Finally back into neutral ice. Fan tried to pass it there. Clayton Lee being pounded by Brett Brumbach. Lee out with it for the Vandals. Here's Brumbach. Gotten to Paulson. Adam Paulson into the zone for the Vandals. Shot block there from Aaron James, and he's just going to play it all the way down. 25 seconds left on the PK for the Vikings. Here's Skaretsky with it for, or sorry, that was Kirkwood for the Vandals. Played up by Secord, and he gets it down into the Vandal zone with a minute left in this one. Back into neutral ice. That's going to be shot in by Ethan Secord, but it's going to be whistled dead on offsides. So 47 seconds left in the third period. Or sorry, it's going to be icing. So with 47 seconds left, Vikings set to take the defensive zone draw. Face off one by the Vandals. Quick shot from Mongo, tipped by Chapman. Here's Aurelio with it. He gets it up to Chapman. Chapman busting into the zone. Chapman with a goal here tonight. Over to Wojcicki, who has 2. Here's Jacob James with 1. Shot on goal. Tipped out front. Jackson Wojcicki looking for that hat trick. Jackson Wojcicki gonna get one more opportunity at the end of this game to get his hat trick. Felt like pretty much every game this homestand, the Vikings have had someone who's scored a hat trick. Secord did it against Eastern. Out front to Wojcicki, almost gets it. Here's Chapman. Tries to find Wojcicki out front. They're all trying to feed him. Here's Jacob James. Trying to get to Chapman. 7 seconds left in this game. Over to Luke Adams, and that's going to be in neutral ice, and that'll do it for the Vikings. Get their 11th win of the season. Vikings take it 10-4 over the Vandals. These win their 10th straight game, their 5th straight game by 10 or more goals. Their 11th win on the season. They are 11-1 heading into next weekend, where they'll take on the University of San Diego Tritons and Cal Berkeley Bears. For Cameron Riggers up here with Bianca Fina and Barbara Vicanti. We'll see you next weekend from Bellingham Sportsplex.
Sportsplex, your unofficial fan of the Western Washington ice hockey team. I'm your public address announcer, Ryan Hayden. Please travel home safely wherever home may be. And don't forget, next week we have 4 games back to back.
What's your favorite band?
Ooh, favorite band? Secret, what's a good band?
Band? That's a hard question.
I know. Remember my AC/DC recently, bro. Getting back into this.
Motley Crue.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Ooh, I'd say Fleetwood Mac.
AC/DC?
Ariana Grande.
Modest Mouse. Oh, King Gibbs.
Motley Crue.
Metallica.
Favorite band? I have 2 favorite artists, Jake Paul and KSI.
I have to go with the Lumineers.